deals.
It's probably a great market here.
Sir?
Good to see you.
Wouldn't get.
Very nice. That was good.
That was good. That is one of 9 that have been developed
Oh,
at with
Cool.
LPI funding.
yeah, that money I got for you, right?
Yes, sir. We could change the name of that show to KDH Crib stuff. We really do.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Is it a summer meeting?
They are
Welcome to my
cooking
crib.
tonight.
Yeah.
We've actually got 2 more flat tops that have shown interest in being designated this year. So
Oh, that's
hopefully come
cool.
November, we're having a public hearing and
Oh, cool.
designating 2 more on the list.
Awesome.
One in the monument area And there's some cool old imagery of that one too, with nothing around it. And another one in East Avalon. So it's always good to add a couple every year when we can. So.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Sandy did a great job on that.
She sure did.
And we have some.
I like the incorporating the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
and we
Like
have,
using the door.
we
and,
have some structures that have actually since been torn down that went through the certificate of appropriateness, demolition 1 year, so forth. But Mary Elizabeth sent Benny into those buildings before they were torn down because she wanted footage of it. So we've held that for several years, and so now we also have these structures that are no longer here. They have this rich history, and so we
Oh,
include
cool.
those in these videos too.
Cool.
Big turn.
I know. Standing room only.
Isn't that great?
Well, not passing bathroom plate.
Yeah, that can't be a good fit.
Where did you go? Whoa.
Depends on how chain does.
He's got
I'm
bushes.
Well, not yet. I put it on until September. And she's got good days and bad days.
I had to get the nod from both of the Dale brothers. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 12th, 2024 Town of Kildover Hills Board of Commissioners meeting. I call this meeting to order and invite everyone to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody would please join me in a moment of silence. All right. All right, our next item of business this evening is our agenda. We have one before us.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We have an agenda. Next item is our first opportunity for public comment.
I think that's the first, no? To me, I don't remember. Maybe Cody.
Now, it's been a while. Been a minute. Happy for everybody that is here and all the people watching at home. I think what happened is everybody had so much fun at the fire station grand opening that,
Yeah.
their appetite for Kildover Hills activities may be quenched. So, no response to public comment. Town manager, any ongoing business this evening?
No, sir.
All right, then we can move on to new business. Item number 1, appointments. We have 2 positions to discuss for the planning board. One is a reappointment for Ron Seidman, who is I think, the current co-chair of that board. And then also for another seat that Natalie Painter is vacating. And I know Natalie has served our town in multiple capacities over the years. And, I think I can speak for the board in thanking Natalie for all she's done for Kildover Hills. But I'll open it up to the board for discussion.
Do you want to do it just Ron first? And
Sure.
yeah, I'll make a motion to appoint Ron, to reappoint Ron to the planning board. He's done a great job for us, and I'm tickled to death with him.
I'll happily second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to reappoint Ron Seidman to the planning board. Do we have any further discussion? All right, I'll just chime in that, Ron has done a super job on the planning board, and it's nice that we can, acknowledge him and celebrate his service to the town. And I'll call a vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, congratulations, Ron. All right, so next appointment is for the open seat. I'll open it up for any discussion we may have in regard to that.
I'd like to hold up to look at the applicants that we have. And I'd really like for us to try to advertise and see if we couldn't get some more applicants. You know, we're I'll stop there.
All
Yeah,
right.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I know that looking at the applications, there is at least one, I believe, that is no longer in Kettleville Hills.
Right.
So saying that it might be good for us to just make one last call in case
Yep.
there's
Yeah, that's
someone
what I
out here
was
that.
noticing. They were kind of stale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think we should get out there and see who's looking to serve.
All right. Yeah, we've done it a few times recently for other appointments as well, given, pump the brakes a little bit, giving people a chance to apply, take a second look at it. So it's a
Yep.
nice potential recruitment tool for more people to volunteer. Well, Debbie, should we take any action at all for not filling the seat or just
No.
move on to the next
We're
item? All right. So that moving on to new business item number 2, bomb track survey and wetland delineation services. Cameron, are you comfortable speaking on this?
Sure thing.
Gotta fill us in.
Let me pull that up real quick for the public. All right, so kind of going back to some discussion we've had over the last few years, but most recently in your retreat. There was some discussion on moving forward with some of the plans and further recreation at the bomb track. So coming out of that conversation, looking at where we've been in the last few years, was the West Side Recreation Group did do this, a very exhaustive review of all the town facilities really on our west side, and came up with some really good suggestions in living in harmony with our disc golf course and looking into some other ideas. We also, when the West Side Group looked at that, we pulled back all the old stuff from the study that was done way back in the day when that was in the 90s, 80s, 90s, yeah, 80s. And to the one that was done even more recently in 2014, 2016. And that was already covered really well by the West Side Recreation Group. So moving forward to start doing the planning that we need to really see what's out there, have the material to apply for grants, and to start laying some of these things out. One of the first steps would be to get that survey updated. The one that was done most recently was done in 2007. There was no disc golf. The mulching operation wasn't even really identified. Really what we were doing at that time was looking at what wetlands were in place.
Right.
So that's really important to get that updated for refresh the boundaries. Let's mark the trees. Let's mark the topo. Let's get all the holes shown, the parking lot, everything we've got out there. Let's go ahead and get on paper because we know we want disc golf to remain. Oh, there's other things that are going to be worked into that recreation as well. And with that, wetlands change over time. So we have to work with the Army Corps on what we can even do in those areas. A lot of what the West Side Group, recommended to the board was a lot of things that work in conjunction with wetlands, boardwalks over them, maybe even some walking paths and things like that. Pretty passive recreation. But we need to get that redone just so that it's, like I said, refreshed and it's accurate for what we've got out there. So that's what you're looking at tonight is to, authorize the proposals for surveying and environmental services up to $25,450. We hope, and just doing some early walking, that the stage 1 of the environmental services is basically just confirming the wetlands haven't changed much. They've changed a little bit. And if they've changed a little bit, we'll probably fall into that stage 1, but it's a little bit more open back there than it was. Now that there is some recreation, there's still quite a bit of wetlands. But there's also some new language under the Clean Water Act that says some of these wetlands are isolated and there's no jurisdiction from the Army Corps. We want to get that designation straight so that if we do need to mitigate some wetlands, we can go ahead and be ahead of that for any permitting that would be necessary. So that's where that gets us started with the getting the ball rolling on what's out there and doing some planning.
All right. Comments or questions?
I think it's great. I think it's an excellent move.
Yeah,
I'm ready with a motion.
I agree.
Yeah, I
Great first
agree.
step.
I do have a question, and we had talked about this back with when we were dealing with the whole affordable housing bond track issue. Now that we're moving forward on actually putting some money into this area, what is the possibility of us this going hand in hand with doing some permanent protections? I mean, I know it's zoned for what it is, but a different board could have easily changed that zoning. And so
Right.
now that we're moving forward with this, I think it might make sense to do some more permanent.
Yeah, and
I
That's a
don't, I
great
don't know,
idea.
or maybe
Great.
I'm maybe.
So what this data and what this information will give us is the ability to then work with someone further to actually get a conceptual plan that you'll adopt.
Okay, perfect.
You're going to adopt as a board that this is the plan that is going to be constructed on this site.
Mhm.
That might be a 5-year plan or it might be a 20-year plan. You know, some of these things we might have to take in bites depending on what you want to do. But when we have a conceptual plan that you've adopted, that puts us in really good standing to apply for like a part of grant. That would mean that this land could only ever be used for recreation.
Okay.
That's the end goal because it's also just a wonderful grant funding possibility. There's CAMA grants and other things, but that's the goal we're working towards.
And that's the type of grant that was used for Meekins Field back in the day. And so that whole area there is in perpetuity for recreation.
Perfect.
But that would be, you
Yeah.
know, like step
Yeah.
one would even be, you know, go ahead and the first thing we might want to do is parking and walking trails and some of the stuff that may be a lower, not necessarily a lower
Mhm.
cost, but some of the first things
Like
we
a
need to
phase
do.
one or.
Yeah.
That would be something we would immediately apply for a part of grant
Okay.
and get these lands, you know, preserved for recreation.
Okay.
So,
Well, didn't we talk about the fact that it had to be in like different phases?
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we did, and we've talked about
Yeah.
that with all of our parks and knowing that
You know,
we want to do a lot at these places and that we've got to take them one step at a time.
that was great input, Ivy. Now is the time to do that.
And
But
next
it's
step
great
after
to know
this.
that that'll be a natural outcome. of-
So after
That's
we
great.
go ahead and execute
Gonna walk
this
it in.
work, we'll be doing a request for services for the actual conceptual plan that will come back to you with likely 2 different options for some different things. And you'll adopt that, that's, you know, as incorporate that into the rec plan. And then we'll use that for grant submittal and
Great.
go ahead and get it locked down for
Perfect.
that.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Well, any more questions or discussion? Commissioner Gray, I do believe you made a motion for approval. Is that correct?
No, I did not, but I'm ready to.
All your floor is yours, sir.
I would move that we accept the Balm Track Survey and Wetland Services Proposal New Business Item, and that we authorize staff, let's see, I knew there was something in here about that. Authorization of staff to contract for the recommended providers up to $25,450 and any budget amendments necessary for the completion of those services. And I ain't gonna say motion anymore.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Great work.
Thank you.
Yep, excellent, excellent.
Excited.
Very good work.
All right, moving on. Next item on the agenda is committee reports.
No committee report here.
No committee report here.
Nothing from me, Mr. Mayor.
Nothing? All right. Commissioner's agenda.
No agenda here.
Commissioner
I
Gray.
have one item. I wanted to give a shout out to Senator Bobby Hannick. He introduced legislation that would designate Jockey's Ridge as an AEC until permanent rules were enacted. And I think that was a pretty good move on his part. And I read that in the paper and I thought it was really good that he did that. Then the next thing I want to bring up under Commissioner's agenda, and I think it's probably being worked on, Chief, right now as we talk about. I know you said you wanted to talk about the firehouse and what a great job that everybody did, and that's true.
Mhm.
I don't think I've seen a better, prepared ceremony from the town before. The staff did an excellent job. Fire department way overboard, administration way overboard. It was really, really nice. I got looking out at the stoplights, the emergency lights, and what has been put out there is no way, shape, or form going to work. I've had discussions with some commissioners at the county level, EMS. They seem to be upset about it as well, and they're going their own avenue to try and remedy it. I called Alan Moran, and I talked to Alan, and I told him, I said, you know, we've really dropped the ball. This is an ill-conceived plan that's not going to work. Chief, I don't know if you've talked any more with other people today, but I shared Alan's number with Chief and asked him to give him a call. I just think it's a disaster because people are going to be stopped in the middle of the entrance to the firehouse, and the trucks aren't going to be able to get out. So we need, Debbie, we need to get on this pretty hot because it's,
We
I
are.
mean, how big are the bumpers on the fire trucks? You know, that's the only thing I can think about. It's a terrible liability situation for the town, because if, you know, they do such a good job responding to fires and so forth, this could stop them from going anywhere. So I trust that everything is moving in the right direction on that, but that's a tough call.
If I can.
I wish you would.
Commissioner, thank you for getting the ball rolling on that. That item was identified early on, and we were kind of told that's the way it is. But thanks for you for jumping in, making a few phone calls. I've had multiple calls today.
Good.
Good. I have someone that will be meeting me out there at the scene in the next couple of days,
Good.
and then we'll review. What's up there right now is temporary, from what I'm being told, and there will be some modifications. I'm hoping that will be permanent, and I think we can set something up that will be beneficial to our emergency response needs.
Super. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else under Commissioner's agenda?
Not for me. Other than that.
Just at the fire station. Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is.
It's really cool.
That's such
Yeah.
a great building.
Can
I
I
know.
just, can I ask a
Happy.
question? Is there any more discussion from the citizens, or even like I've noticed this summer about the traffic flow? I know we're still talking about, doing another study maybe on, maybe Avalon, which we had done before, asking for a study done for Avalon, with the Department of Transportation. And, definitely an interesting environment over there on the north side now. It's much different than it ever was in the past, the north side of town.
Mm.
And I noticed the flow of traffic seems to really be, a different, of course, because of the Target and the Wawa, the first time they've really been together. And then, of course, the new building that's going next to Target, and then, of course, the car wash that will be done soon. So are you getting any calls from citizens, people? I mean, personally, I've recognized it to be, sort of a boondoggle there. Like it just needs another breakup,
The direction that the board had given me during the retreat was once the car wash
Car wash
was
done.
operational, that at that point we would make another request to DOT for a study in that area from, I think it was 4th Street to,
Helga? It was Helga.
yeah, I have to go back and check my notes, but to ask them to review that area again.
No, and I remember that, and I know that's true. I just, I was wondering if you got any. Do people talk about this or something?
A lot of folks are obviously talking about the increase in traffic there. I mean,
Yeah.
with the Wawa and especially with people turning at 4th Street against the traffic as opposed to going to 5th to the light,
Yeah.
or coming out of 4th Street going north as opposed to going to the light.
Yeah, the middle lane's gotten
gotten
really
crazy.
hairy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things going on with movies. If the movies are on, and everything that it's really kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of spots like that up and down the bypass that are wild, but it just seems like it's really increasing.
Well, and I think that's because it's such a change
Yeah.
from what it was in a short time. I mean, we're all used to that, to the south end of town, that you
Yeah.
really got to
Oh,
pay
yeah, yeah,
attention, you know.
Yeah.
And now it's true for that area. There's just
But
a
there's
lot
so many
going
lights on
on.
that south side, and then the north side, maybe even the Wawa is even busier than people expected it to be. At least for me, because it seems unbelievably packed all the time. It's interesting.
Yeah, and if I may, I mean, if you remember, I don't know, remember if everybody who's on the board, but when Wawa was approved, but they did a traffic study for Wawa and the numbers were really high because they were using, I think they're stored in Chesapeake as an example, and DOT did not support a light.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was because of the proximity to 5th Street and 3rd Street light.
Right.
I don't know if that would change in this climate where there's other new things, but with
Yeah.
the speed limit and curb and gutter, and they didn't recommend it at the time. So it'd be interesting to see what they would
It seems like a light before that, like we had talked about before, Avalon might break up some of that so that people can there'll be some
Like a
relief.
sportsman or something like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Avalon Sportsman, something that will
Yeah.
create some more, relief there because it's wild. I think you live out there now slightly. You probably notice it as well. So
Well, I mean, if it's the pleasure of the board and you want that request made now, I mean, we can certainly do that.
well, I hate to like, use our mulligan. I don't know if is it something, did you think we should wait? Or, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I know we talked about it because it's going to increase, of course, when that car wash comes in. And that's a pretty big operation. They've taken some time on it. It looks nice,
looks
but it's going to
good.
be something. The building looks great.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's a big car wash, much longer and bigger than I expected. So it's going to be, seeing it in person, but it's going to add a lot more to it. So, and I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to ask for it now and then get denied and then
Kinda how I feel.
So we talked about that. I was just curious if you were getting feedback from the people because other than me talking to people, I haven't heard it, official.
Might be better to wait and get when the car wash is done so you get that extra traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a good thought.
I think we still want to wait. But
Yeah, my thoughts are kind of stick with the plan we originally discussed.
Yeah.
Your concerns are valid. It's
Yeah.
congested and it's backed up there. But waiting until all that construction's finished, we'll get the most accurate numbers.
Yeah.
And
that's
can make a more informed decision.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
All right, commissioners agenda. Anything else? We'll move
Nothing
on.
for me, sir.
All right, we'll move on to mayor's agenda. Again, piggybacking off Commissioner Gray's comments, it was a pleasure to attend the ribbon cutting at the town's new William E. Gard Fire Station 14 and Dare EMS Station Number 1 on August 5th. It has been a great partnership between the town and the county and provides our fire and EMS crews with a top-notch modern facility that will serve our citizens for decades to come. Thank you to every KDH and county staff member who worked to make this long-time dream a reality. Now, I think Commissioner Gray said it right, that the building is really something fancy, but the event itself, we were so well prepared and we were ready. I remember I sat up front, I was with my daughter, I wasn't paying attention to the people around me or the people behind me. And I got up to speak and I turned around and the whole room was completely full, standing room only in the back and overflow outside. So it showed how excited and engaged people were for this new facility. And we really were ready, Chief and Debbie. It was great that we could showcase the town and our new facility in a way that really welcome a big crowd and have a good time. So thank you both for a job well done.
We'll pass that on. Thank you.
National Night Out. Hurricane Debbie was a downer, and our rain canceled our town's 2024 National Night Out event. I want to thank everyone from the police department, especially Lieutenant David Pierce for all the work involved in the weeks of planning and coordination. That is a big event when we have it, and a ton of work from our police department. AC, let everybody know we appreciate them. We look forward to next year. And I kept thinking back because last year we had a perfect weather night. I always go there and say, man, it's going to be hot. We're going to sweat. It's going to be a drag. And last year it was perfect, and unfortunately this year, not the case. And last First Flight Farmers Market tomorrow, August 13th, is our last farmers market of the summer season. Please come out and join our local vendors from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I believe we were talking about the weather. It should be somewhat pleasant tomorrow. So a good summer day to come out and enjoy some fellowship and commerce. So that's all I have.
And Mayor, you're real quick, and I was going to say something, and you kind of went right on by it right quick. I wanted to tell you what a great job you did on representing the town at the firehouse.
Oh, thank you.
That speech was, it was very, very informative. You did a great job.
Well, we have very good people in this town taking care of us, putting us in a position to be successful. So I'd like to thank staff and helping with preparations for not just the speech, for the whole event. I sure wish Charlene was here because she was a very good public speaker as well. She did a very, very nice job.
She did.
And
you did a great job.
I'm sure she's listening.
So good. She did. And because it was a little off-putting. We're sitting in the front and kind of kneeling in early. There's going to be a few people here, not too crowded. And boom,
Yeah,
everyone was
full.
there.
Yeah.
It was full
that's great.
and warm and full.
And those doors went
It
down.
was warm and
Boy.
full.
Yeah.
All right.
You do
Move.
have that one item in your
Mayor.
Oh.
It's on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Almost forgot.
You almost
can't
got
believe
that.
it.
All the fun we were talking about and the good times. How could I remiss? I look very forward to sharing with everybody September 24th from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Aviation Park with this year's Ice Cream Social. Family fun event to bring the community of KDH together, enjoy hot dogs, hamburgers, and ice cream while supplies last. So folks, don't, plan your evening meal and some outside fun around us, but don't show up too late. It can be well attended and a lot of fun, and we can run out of food. So really, really fun event. It keeps getting bigger every year too. So
AC gives out a lot of ice cream.
he does. He probably gets a carpal tunnel in his arm after scooping. Yeah.
And Mayor, as your memo has the attachment on it, something new that
Oh,
staff came
that's
up
right.
with this year.
Yeah.
You want to
I'll be happy to share.
Yes.
I think so this year we'll have our first ever KDH pie contest. Not a pie eating contest, but a pie contest held at Ice Cream Social. So, and further instructions will be delivered, but we will have everybody who would like to be an entrant can
A little QR code.
there's a little QR code to, and I do not envy the judges. I hope I'm not asked to serve because that would be hard to pick.
No, we wouldn't do that.
No.
Sounds like a committee I like.
Yeah. But town manager, hope I'm not missing anything. But we have a action-packed and really fun ice cream social ahead of us. Pie,
Yeah.
ice cream, hot dogs and hamburgers.
And a
I
bake
Baked
sale.
goods.
Yeah,
And
baked
it
goods.
benefits the Wallace McCowan
Scholarship.
Scholarship. That's great.
Yeah.
That is very good.
So
And yes,
great.
it'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I believe that concludes
That concludes.
mayor's agenda for this evening. Town manager's
No,
agenda.
sir, nothing this evening.
Town attorney.
I've got nothing. Thank you.
All right, let's move along to our
Counselor?
consent agenda.
Yes, sir. First item is the minutes from July 8th, 2024, the June 2024 monthly report, budget amendment number 2, appropriate salary increase, budget amendment, schedule of public hearing, proposed zoning amendment, low density residential zoning site requirements, amend requirement for permeable pavement, lot coverage calculation for lots greater than 1 acre. The planning board recommended the Board of Commissioners schedule a public hearing for Monday, September the 9th at 6 p.m. Approval of consent agenda will schedule this public hearing, and staff recommends the consent agenda approved as presented.
All right. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? For a motion?
A motion that we approve them as presented, the
Second.
consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Right. That brings us along to our second opportunity for public comment. We'll wrap it up as so. Okay. No response, so well, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you very much.
I can't believe you see like the holiday.
I know.